All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. We do not have our regular chairperson here today, so we are going to need to elect a new chairperson to act for the meeting. I believe I have a motion from Laverne.
I'd like to make a motion that we ask Bob Charters to fill in today and act as our chairman.
All right, and do I have a seconder? Nancy? So all in favor? All right, and those opposed? Seeing none, that motion is carried, and Mr. Charters will be the acting chairperson for the hearing today. All right, and we'll just do a roll call quickly so that we're able to see who all is in attendance for committee members. So I have Mr. Charters in attendance, Nancy. Here. Melvin. Here. Margaret. Here. Laverne.
Present.
David. I do not currently see David on the call. He did indicate that he would be attending virtually. I will let you know, Mr. Chair, if he does attend. Thomas is also not able to attend today, and Mr. Dale Smith is not able to attend today. And Mark, I do not currently see him on the call. He did indicate he may not be able to attend today. If I do see him, I will let you know as well, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, David is present now.
Hello.
Hi, David.
Hi, how are you?
Good. We started the meeting at 1 o'clock, and Mr. Charters was elected to be the acting chair for today.
Oh, is he there or online? He's there. Oh, Bobby.
He's there, yes.
Good. Cool. How many apps did you do? One? Have you done any applications yet?
No, the first item is scheduled at 1:10.
Cool. Good timing. I just got to get situated here, so hold on. Yeah, I've never done this before. There's not a split screen. You just see me like I am. Sorry I didn't dress up for the occasion.
Sounds good.
Just trying to get some light where I can see you guys better. No, no. Good. A little better. There we go. That's better.
All right. We're all set for the first item. So we are hearing GLA 2316 for 3033 Binbrook Road in Glanbrook. We have the agent registered to speak, we have the council registered to speak, and we have one other interested party.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. Matt Johnston, registered professional planner with Urban Solutions. As you know, this application was previously tabled in light of the additional variances that were added to the docket. And you'll see in the staff report, those new variances still have not been evaluated. And what we'd like to do is, unfortunately, defer this one more time to allow that communication to happen and to allow those recommendations to come forward from staff. So that would be my request today. I was, as there were no speakers last time, I wasn't anticipating any this time, but happy to answer any questions along those lines. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Is your intention to table this meeting?
Yep.
Okay, I'll move to table then.
And seconder, moved and seconded by Margaret. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Seeing none?
Carried. So if you are here to speak on this particular application, it will come up again. You'll be notified and you'll be able to come to the meeting. It was tabled for specific things to be addressed, and it didn't get addressed in the time they had before this meeting. Yes.
There was very little, almost no public information that went out. I live next door to this property and I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay, so this item has been tabled, so it's not being heard today. Mr. Johnson, so you'll just need to request a new hearing date when you're able to provide that information, the updated information to staff. It will not be circulated to staff on your behalf until you make that request for a new hearing date.
Thank you, Jamila. Just to clarify that, Jamila, last
Information about
time,
this.
Just
Sorry.
go ahead, Matt.
thank you, Mr. Chair. Jamila, just to kind of clarify the tabling, the previous round we were tabled to a specific agenda, and if that works, that would be ideal. Just want to make sure we're on the same page there.
So that wasn't the motion that was put forward by the committee, and that would have been needed to be addressed. I believe that was the intention last time, but the information wasn't provided to staff in that time. So I wasn't sure if you weren't able to contact them in that time. And this gives you more time to be able to contact them.
Okay. I just, where I'm going with that, to be honest, is the fee related to getting back on the agenda. And if that's something that we could have a sidebar on, or I agree at this point, it would just, I think, save the circulation, the additional notice, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we can talk about that offline. That's fine.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So we will recirculate the information if there is a further hearing when it's scheduled.
I don't think anyone in the neighborhood was aware that there's even, this variance has even been proposed. There was a very small sign on a wooden stake that promptly ended up on the ground and then blowing away.
Yeah.
There's been no signage of any kind, and I live next door and I didn't receive a letter or anything.
You should.
I
you
think the
should have
neighborhood should know.
So the information was circulated in accordance with the Planning Act. The circulation requirements for minor variance applications are different than for Planning Act, for zoning bylaws and official plan requirements for circulation. The distance is only 60 meters as opposed to 120 meters, and the sign is a different size sign requirement. So if you want more information about the requirements under the Planning Act for notice, we're happy to discuss that offline. That's not the intention of this.
The address that's shown as the property in question is actually only listing one address. It's 4 lots, and I live right next door to one of those. And I didn't receive anything. So there's something wrong with that process is what I'm saying. And we need to make sure that it's the entire area. You said 60 meters? Then 60 meters from all the properties, not just that one property that's...
Yep, that's what was circulated.
No, I didn't receive anything.
Okay, you can follow up. So we provided notice in the mail, Canada Post. Unfortunately, we can't control that. Thank you.
Okay. Hearing is adjourned.
Thank you.
Right, and we're all set for the next file. We're hearing HMA 2344 for 162 Haddon Avenue South in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak. And And the owner and no other interested parties.
Is the agent here?
Yeah.
Come to the table.
Hi, my name's Jeff Last. I'm speaking on behalf of my client, Chong Yen, and we just want to do a second-story reno.
Let me stop you for a second. Did you read the comments posted regarding the staff comments on this application?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you in favor of those comments?
Yeah, I mean, we basically have to be, right?
So is there anything different that you need to have addressed?
No.
Okay.
Motion for approval.
Moved by Nancy, seconded by... All those in favor? Carried.
You have to call for those opposed.
Oh, those opposed? Sorry.
Seeing none. I believe David voted in favor.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Yep.
Nice and fresh.
Jamila,
Yes, David, I think you're breaking up a little bit.
who isn't there besides Mark and Dale? Everybody else there? I can't see them there that well.
Thomas isn't here, and Dale and Mark.
Oh, okay, that's good. Well, not good, but that's three missing. Oh, I thought there was, okay.
Yeah.
It's good that I came.
Sorry, I think you're cutting up a little bit.
Just ignore me, I'll just say,
Okay, all right. We can't quite see you, but that's, if you're okay with that, then.
I'll get just a minute. I'm gonna keep on moving. Probably better if you don't see me.
Okay, we're all set for the next items. We're hearing HMA 2332 for 21 Wood Street West in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak and no other interested parties.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Louis from Team Shane, and I'm honored today to represent Christopher Brown and David Mitcher, the homeowner of 21 Wood Street West in Hamilton. We did review the city staff report, and we are completely satisfied with the zoning comments. Regarding the development engineering comments, we are willing to provide more information to accommodate the request.
Nancy?
Yeah, just wondering what the applicant has to say about the recommendation from development engineering?
So our response through the chair that I'm not sure if it was just a general comment regarding the setback requirement, but the setback that was requested is regards to a pressure treated wood ramp for accessibility. And I would like to talk more about it with the development engineering and maybe provide a grading and drainage plan or any kind of information that can relieve the concern.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes. Margaret?
I would like to put forward a motion for approval with the condition that the applicant satisfy development engineering with respect to grading and drainage.
And just for clarity, that's with the development engineering condition as well as the current condition that was listed from development planning?
Yes.
Yes,
About the
okay.
encroachment.
Is that with the encroachment?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Those opposed?
Seeing none?
Carried. Been approved.
David, did you have a question, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No? I was in favor.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
great.
We
Thank
took you as in favor. So it's been approved.
With
We're-
conditions.
Yes, with conditions as outlined, and the application's completed now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have thought that.
All right, and we're all set for the next item. We're hearing HMA 2330 for 88 Tisdale Street South in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak and no other interested parties.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Azadi Pongetti from Deck Incorporated. I am representing my clients, Jeremy and Maria Dupont, who are the owners of 88 Tisdale Street South. We have reviewed the notes and we are in agreement for all 3 points that have been made.
Thank you very much. Committee?
Very simply, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Moved and seconded. Moved by Vern, seconded by Mel. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Seeing none?
Carried. Thank you. Your application's been approved.
Thank you so much for your time, everyone. Great day.
All right, we're all set for the next file. We're hearing HMA 2339 for 113 Hilliard Street in Hamilton. We have the owners registered to speak and no other interested parties.
So if you can identify yourselves and then ask you a question.
Hi, my name is Mauricio Bastidas. This is my mom, Isabel Pina. We're the owners of 113 Hilliard Street.
Okay, so the comments on this application were posted. Did you have an opportunity to read through them?
Unless this has been updated since the last file submission, I haven't read them. The last
You
file.
would have received an email yesterday with a link to the hearing and where the comments were posted. The comments were posted on Tuesday afternoon.
Yes, I read them.
Okay, so you're in favor of the comments? They're for approval.
Sorry, it beats me right now as to the comments. I did read the email, but I was at work when I read it. Is it possible to refresh on the comments?
Nancy?
Yes, so the staff recommends approval without any hitches or anything, so I'm going to recommend that we approve the application.
Yes, thank you.
Seconded by Mel. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Seeing none?
Carried.
Perfect, thank you very much.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
3 days.
Sorry?
3 days. Great.
Thank you. Yes, no kidding. So are you the applicant at the end of the table? Okay.
Neighboring property.
Okay.
All right, and we're all set for the next file. We're hearing HMA 2302 for 1821 King Street East in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak as well as 2 interested parties.
So would the agent like to identify themselves, then proceed?
Yes, my name is Sahar Arfa. I am the agent representing the owner on behalf of the owner for 1821 King Street East.
So have you read the comments that were posted?
Yes, I have read and I'm in favor of them.
Terrific. Committee, any questions? Oh, I'm sorry. We have some neighbors at the end of the table, so I'm going to allow them to speak now.
So we'll hear from Linda Darling Pay first. If you could just turn on your microphone. Thank you.
Hi, I'm the neighbor backing, the residential neighbor in the back of that proposed property. I'm very concerned about my privacy and the driveway and the traffic. The retaining wall, will it stay and be replaced with what, cement?
and then we'll hear from the other interested party, and then give the agent an opportunity to respond to the comments provided.
Yeah, just to add to my mom, it's the retaining wall. There's a 4-foot retaining wall separating the driveway from the property. The retaining wall is already falling apart, so she's worried about the construction collapsing the retaining wall onto her driveway. That's...
Thank you. So can you respond to those questions?
Regarding the retaining wall, we're going to replace it with a wood screening as per the zoning required. So we will, like I have also noticed it's eroded, so we will replace that. For her concern regarding the traffic, so we're going to have a 6 parking spot. 2 parking spot is going to be for the second story for the 2 proposed residential units, and 4 parking spots for the dental office, which the dentist will give appointment as per schedule. So they will see patients one by one. It's not going to be crowded like they imagined.
Thank you.
Is that one dentist in the building?
Yes, it's 3 units for dental office, which 2 dentists will be working there.
Also, I appreciate the staff will take up spots.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you'll have a receptionist, a dentist, and then maybe a client.
Hygienist.
Yes.
And a hygienist.
That detailed, I don't know. I don't think so. Usually, as far as I know, I talk to the dentist, the hygienist is not working every day. It's just like once or twice a week.
I'm just concerned that the clientele will be looking for a place to park and it will congest the street.
Well, there is a street parking, a few of them, and also there is a 4 parking spot that's owned by the dental office. And I think that's more than enough because they are seeing patient one by one.
That was my concern with the retaining wall. I understand the fence is going up. Can you tell me how high?
We're going to build 6 feet from the grade retaining wall. I think that's what the zoning required.
Your grade?
Yeah.
Your grade or theirs? Would that be 6 feet from my mom's grade or from your grade?
From my grade, from our plot's grade.
Okay, because the retaining wall is 4 feet, so if you put up a 2 feet wall.
Okay, I think we've heard enough on this. Thank you very much for coming and presenting your questions, and I think they've been addressed. Committee? Yes?
In reviewing the application, there's 7 variances on here, and I think the only one that was shown of any concern from development and engineering was number 3. But I reviewed number 3 and they said it's an existing condition.
Yes.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Moved by Vern, seconded by Nancy. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Seeing none?
Carried. Thank you very much.
I hope it works so well for you.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, and we're all set for the next file. We're hearing SCA 2334 for 1 Brandow Court in Stony Creek. We have the agents registered to speak and no other interested parties.
there, Jenny Bogner here, agent for the homeowner, and we have checked all the comments from staff, and we're happy with their notes of support. The homeowner has also talked with a number of different neighbors, and we did provide a letter from them, a signed letter of support from, I think, half a dozen at least neighbors. So happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you. Committee members, any questions?
No questions, motion for approval?
Seconded by Mel.
And sorry, just to clarify, is that with the condition requested from development planning?
Just flipped away. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, so that was motioned by Nancy and seconded by Melvin?
Mel.
Okay.
Yeah. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Seeing none?
Carried.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Side yard, not a front yard.
It's definitionally speaking a front yard, yes.
Water properties.
All right, and we're all set for the next file. We're hearing HMA 2306 for 49 Greenford Drive in Hamilton. We have the agent and owner registered to speak and one other interested party.
Is the agent there? Is the agent available?
Mr. Chair, I do not currently see the agent on the call, but I believe the owner is on the call at the moment. Is the owner for 49 Greenford Drive available?
Yes, I'm here.
Have you had an opportunity to read the comments on this application?
Yes, I have, but my agent should be here.
Okay, is the agent for 49 Greenford Drive, HMA 2306, available? Please make yourself known. I do not currently see the agent on the call, Mr. Chair.
So the agent isn't available. What would you like to do?
I don't know right now. Can we wait like 5 minutes? Can we like get back to my case?
That's up to the committee.
Put it
Mr.
over.
Chair.
Sure.
All right, thanks.
The committee's okay with that. We've got another hearing at 1:50, so
150. All right, I'm gonna give my agent a call.
terrific.
All right.
Thank you.
So we'll set this application aside and we will go back to it at a time to be determined. All right, we're all set for the next file. So we're hearing HMA 2342 for 755 Beach Boulevard in Hamilton. We have the agent and owner registered to speak. If the person speaking on behalf of the application could come forward to the table.
So have you read the comments as posted?
Unfortunately, I didn't see any comments that were posted unless I was looking at the wrong.
Yeah, so they would have been sent out by an email with a link to where they were posted. They were also posted on Tuesday afternoon, and it was notified at the hearing date.
Are there, is that, sure.
This is what you should read.
Mr. Chair, are we going to let him read the entire comments, or are we?
Okay, what would the committee like? The comments are all in approval, so, Vern?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay, seconded by Mel. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Seeing none? Sorry, who? Oh, never mind, yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, and I believe, Mr. Chair, that the agent for HMA 2306 is now present. Would you like to go back to that item? All right, so we're hearing HMA 2306 for 49 Greenford Drive in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak, as well as the owner and one interested party.
So have you had opportunity to read the comments posted?
Which one she know?
Go back to Yes.
Okay.
Is the agent there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning. Sorry, good afternoon, all of you. Sorry, extremely sorry. I was stuck somewhere. I could not. I was late in the meeting.
Okay, so have you had a chance to read the comments?
Yeah, the comments are the same we had last time. Only the problem in the last meeting, the problem was only some comments which were not being supported by the staff, were like actually. The staff put those comments in the comments which were not like discussed with me, and in the last meeting it was decided that we're gonna have a table talk with the staff, and I did discuss with them, and he was agreed when I sent him the revised drawing. So I was told that we have to circulate to all staff and pay fee everything extra again, which was not justified. So I said that, okay, we can accept these comments as is, and we are good. The planner is there in the meeting. I would request him, like if he has anything, we will address all his comments. We will follow those. We are accepting those. That is fine with us. If he has anything like any other thing, if he can accept our revised drawings, that is fine. Otherwise, it is okay.
Okay, what's before us is they're recommending approval for 1, 3, and 5, and for 2 and 4 and 7, they're saying no.
Yeah.
So you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Nancy?
Can I just verify to the applicant there, did you say you had discussions with staff and there were things that were not reflected in our notes today?
Yeah, I had discussion with the staff, and in result, like we were agreed on these all things which are not being supported. We will provide in the drawings, like everything. I sent the revised drawings to the staff again, and then we were told that, okay, no, we need to pay extra fees again for the revision, which we were not agreed on. So because it was not justified to pay the fee again. So I said, oh, please go ahead with the revised plan. Otherwise, we will accept the same, we can accept the same older comments with no revision. And actually, those comments which were added by the staff were from them, actually. or maybe on precautionary measures they added,
know
but
who-
we are okay with we can accept those.
Do you know who you were speaking with?
Me?
Yes, which staff member were you speaking with?
Staff member, he was, no, I don't remember his name.
Okay, is that staff member available?
Mr. Chair, we also have an interested party. I just don't want that to get overlooked. So I believe we have planning staff. I'm not sure if planning staff are able to provide comments with regards to other discussions that they might have had with the agent, or if the agent discussed it with staff who are not present.
Through the chair.
What I'm going to do right now is we do have some other people on this, so we'll listen to them. You can listen to their comments and then you can respond to them. Okay? So who is it that's on this application? Or online, I'm sorry.
All right, so we'll now hear from Tony Easterbrooks.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi. Thank you so much for giving us time. There's a couple of concerns. First of all, them not being organized today was very concerning. But second of all, I don't think they clearly understand what you're asking and what our concerns are as the neighbors. We submitted a bunch of concerns the last time, and again, some of it is not being addressed, but the main concerns right now is that we have neighbors, and yes, the sign is up in his window, and yes, there was a mailing done, but some of our neighbors, English is not their first language, and they do not understand what this variance is, especially the people behind him. Second of all, he just seems to be saying yes, yes, yes to you guys, but doesn't seem to be following any full plans, anything what's going on. Clearly, we've submitted pictures to show you that, and we've checked with bylaw to make sure that there's no permits, yet he is doing constructions in the basement. This just seems to be a money-making for him, because his comment going out of the meeting last time was, how is he going to be making money? And he's concerned about having to pay to make proper applications and adjust the proper applications. We're concerned also that if this is just a big money-making scheme, what is this going to do to the school that's 600 meters away, or our neighborhood? Clearly, that's not a concern of theirs. The final thing that we're still concerned about is that he has not addressed that he has a 273 plus square foot separate building garage. We've included it in the pictures, and that's a second building altogether. So he's not looking for a multiple family. He's looking to put at least 3 or 4 families in, which means 3 buildings on that property. How is that going to affect the infrastructure, our property values? There's just a lot of concerns that are not being addressed, and they just seem to be sweeping things under the carpet.
Okay, thank you. Is there another speaker? Committee, any questions?
Can I go back to staff and see if there was a comment there that they could satisfy regarding those additional conversations?
Through the chair to the committee, I don't believe I recall having specific conversations with the applicant on this, but it appears that it was tabled. They made their revisions. They didn't want to resubmit and pay the recirculation fee, so they came back with the old site plan, which is reflective on staff's comments that they haven't changed. So staff still do not support the variances that are in front of you today that aren't supported. It would be up to the applicant if the committee does move forward and deny the variance is not supported to meet the bylaw going forward. If they don't, they would have to come back to the committee. But if there were conversations, and apologies if I have forgotten those, it would have been that the variances that we didn't support at that time had been resolved. So I think that's sort of where it stands now in terms of why it wasn't recirculated. But staff's comments for the application in front of us today remain the same. Hopefully that was clear.
Thank you.
Vern?
At this point, 50% of the variances that are there are recommending denial. They're recommending approval on the rest of them. There seems to be some confusion here that we don't have everything in our package that we need. My recommendation here is to take this thing back to planning and have the applicant satisfy planning and then bring it back to us and let us deal with it. And at this point, I'm ready to make a motion to table this thing until they can satisfy planning.
Excuse me, I have a comment.
Well, hang on a second. I've got a motion. Is there a seconder to the motion? And then I'll let them give a comment. Margaret? Okay, so if you want.
Sorry, so it hasn't been voted on?
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
So do you want to go ahead with what you were commenting on? It appears as though you're not going to be able to proceed with this application unless you address those other things. And if it's just that you don't want to pay a fee, you're going to have a problem. So.
Yeah, we will address these issues. So we don't need actually what is being not supported. We did not ask for those things. I don't know why the staff has added those things and saying not supported. So for example, for green belt, so we have not asked for any relief in the green belt, and he was saying, okay, we need a green belt 2 meters, which is not shown in the plan, so it is not supported. So that is the confusion was created in the application. And then when I discussed, I think his name was Sebastian Cumming, if I'm not wrong. So I planning technician. No, if I'm not wrong, his name was Sebastian Cumming, but I'm not 100% sure he was he. So, but actually, so I'm saying confusion was created, and we did not ask for those variations which are not being supported. So for example, 1.2 meter pathway to the second unit. So yes, we will provide by 1.2 meter pathway. So no problem in that. So why it is not being supported?
Okay, hang
so
on a second.
we will address those comments. No problem. We can accept these comments.
So we do have a motion on
We've
the
got a
floor
motion
and
on the
second.
That's what I was going to say, Mr. Chair. We got a motion on the floor. Can we vote on it?
Yep. So the motion on the floor is to table the application. All those in favor? All those opposed? One opposed?
Sorry, I don't think David, were you opposed to the motion to table or just late? No, you were not. Okay, thank you. None
So-
opposed, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
But even we want to get a decision on this with the same comments.
So the application has been tabled.
Yeah.
You need to go back to planning staff and do whatever it is that they need in order to approve your application. If you're going to remove things and change your application, then you need to fill out whatever the application fee is along with any of the changes that you're making. If you're not needing those variances, then you'll have to identify it as not needing them by showing it on the drawings as to what you're doing.
Okay,
So
Mr.
it's-
Chair.
So just let me finish.
Yeah.
So it has been tabled by the committee, so we aren't going to have any more further discussion on it today. So thank you, and hopefully you can get that worked out.
So, Mr. Chair,
And we're all set for the next item.
I
We're
don't-
now hearing SCA 2343 for for 100 King Street West in Stony Creek. We have the agent registered to speak and no other interested parties.
Yes, this is Prem Tiwari. I'm the agent on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, so have you read the comments from staff?
Yes, yeah, I've read the comments. We are okay with the comments. Thank you for that.
Nancy?
Motion for approval as agreed by staff.
Margaret, did you have a question before I take a seconder?
I did have a question. There was some comment from staff that there might be a concern if there was an entrance to this structure from the building. It would be considered an extension of the building as opposed to an accessory building. It looks like from the drawing that there is, the only entrance to this structure is from the existing restaurant. Is that correct?
That's true. I think it's just that the word shed has been used differently. We just want to cover we just want to cover the main entrance. It's open right now. We just want to cover it, provide some a covered entrance. So the word shouldn't be shed like a backyard shed. That's not a difference. Yeah.
I do notice that it seems from the comments that if staff on further review believe that this is not a shed, it's actually an extension of the building, then there might be additional conditions or variances required. I'm okay with going forward as it is. I just want to mention that that was expressed as a concern.
Yeah, no, thanks. So I did go through that comment as well. It's an existing entrance. We are just going to just cover the main entrance because it's all open right now. It will remain as it is, the way it is, yeah.
So we have a motion to approve. Do we have a seconder? Vern? All those in favor? All those, anybody opposed?
Seeing none?
It's approved.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I just wanted to confirm, you're just here to listen, you're not speaking to anything?
3:05 is my time slot. I'm just a keener. I came early.
Oh, okay, and you don't want to sit in the other room?
I'm happy here,
Okay.
if that's okay with you.
Yeah, just if we have issues with capacity, that would be the only thing.
I'd have to raise that.
All right, and we're all set for the next file. So we're hearing HMA 2346 for 238 East 11th Street in Hamilton. We have the agent and owner registered to speak and no other interested parties.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Quentin from Jarvis Design Firm, and I'm the agent for this application.
Thank you. So have you had a chance to review the comments?
Yes, I have had a chance, and if it's okay with everyone, I just have a few comments to make regarding those, if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead.
So just regarding the comments there, I can confirm that the submitted informal site plan, it does display the correct south property line location and distance to the existing house. So that is correct, including the area that's available for the addition, where there's that existing detached garage, which as it pertains to this application, that's what's very important. Other than that, the existing house, it does currently conform to the side yard requirement in the bylaw. So we don't really have any concern as far as the addition, as that's going to be 2.5 meters further back from that east property line. And then we've also been in discussion with Justin Wad from the planning department at the city leading up to this. So no concerns there, but the east property line is definitely not accurate on the informal site plan. And we will definitely be getting an OLS survey completed for the project, which leads me to the development engineering comments, which I believe they're the only ones that weren't in approval of the application. So regarding their concern when it comes to lot grading design for the property, With this new proposed addition, we're definitely going to be having an actual lot grading design done. It is important to note that the existing shed garage is actually 1.5 meters closer to that rear property line that we're going to be removing and basically replacing with this addition. And just for the record, we are also open to introducing additional drainage control measures if required by development engineering.
Thank you for being so thorough, and I'm well aware of the property, and it's up to committee now. Yes?
I'd like to make a motion.
Moved by Vern, seconded by Nancy. All those in favor? Carried.
Any opposed?
There was they all put up their hands for
None opposed.
in favor, none opposed. It's carried, approved.
Thank you, everyone.
Great. But just as long as it's not something dropping on the floor.
All right, so we're all set for the next file. We're hearing SCB 2308 for 44 West Avenue in Stony Creek. We have the owner registered to speak and no other interested parties. So for the owner in person, please make sure that your microphone is turned on when you are speaking.
So the comments have been posted. Have you read the comments?
I have not, no.
Okay. They're in favor of, they support your application.
Perfect. Thank you.
There was a list of conditions, Mr. Chair, as well.
Okay. So there's a list of conditions. Do you want to hear them?
Yes, definitely.
So these comments were posted. An email was circulated to all of those.
Okay. I'm going to go back and look at them then once I...
So condition 1 is for an Ontario Land Surveyor's deposited reference plan to be provided in PDF and CAD format. Condition 2 is that all taxes should be paid. Condition 3 is that the administration fee for the new lot be paid. Condition 4 is for a road widening. Condition 5 is that the lands conform to the zoning bylaw. Condition 6 is for a consent agreement. Condition 7 is that the owner pays the share for the concrete sidewalk. And condition 8 is that the noise level shall be investigated and a report prepared to the satisfaction of development planning.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
So that's fairly standard. You're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Moved by Nancy.
Yep.
Seconded by Mel. All those in favor? Oh, everybody's in favor.
Thank you.
Carried. Have a great day.
Thank you. Oh.
All right, and we're all set for the next file. We're hearing SCA 2328 for 394 Winona Road in Stony Creek. We have the agent registered to speak and no other interested parties.
So we've tabled this, and what are you here to tell us today?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've seen the staff comments. Of course, we don't strictly agree with them. We'd like to make a few comments, if I may.
Sure.
I provided some images to Ms. Sheffield that I would like to share with the committee. First, I would like to make a couple comments just to address some of the information in the staff report. The first was a simple yet we think inaccurate sentence. It says no revisions have been made to date. That's not strictly accurate. The proposal has changed from the original iteration. In fact, we've looked at I don't know, 10 or 11 different iterations of how to make this site function for the proposed use. And we even presented options to staff through the site plan application wherein we did comply with the some of those urban design policies with respect to building placement to the street, and they were not supportive due to potential vehicular movement conflicts, and to be honest, we agreed with those sentiments. So we ultimately ended up back at a revised iteration of the original formal application that was reviewed, and that's what the application is largely based on. The second thing, I just wanted to touch on some of the policy that they've noted in their report, and we have a different interpretation. We think it's an incorrect application or interpretation on the staff part. You'll note that policy E4711, they note they've used that to show that the buildings should be placed to the street, and the strict literal interpretation of that is the retail buildings shall be located to the street. Of course, this is not a retail building. It does not have any retail or public use. It is a service car wash that may occasionally have a staff member for checking in, making sure things are running appropriately. When you look at other policies in the same section of the secondary plan, it lists retail uses, gas stations, and car washes all as identified specific permitted uses within the policy. And yet, in our opinion, this is incorrectly applied in that it uses the same use, a retail building, and applies it to a non-retail use. So we don't agree with the interpretation, and largely that's what our analysis was based on that was submitted with the application. Ms. Sheffield, if I could reference the first slide for you.
So for those viewing this, it is page 88 in the comment package.
Thank you very much. Sort of building off that policy review for urban design within the Winona secondary plan, you'll note on the first image, this is kind of a contextual location map for the lands. Of course, it's on the Winona Road near the Costco Big Box Plaza. I have 3 different colors identified on this screen, and really that follows 3 different urban design ideas and policies within the Urban Hamilton official plan. On the left or west side of Winona, you'll see the light purple. Those are lands that are designated and zoned for industrial uses. And when you look at the zoning bylaw for that area, the minimum requirement is a 6-meter landscape area abutting the street. And so there's no minimum building or there's maximum building setback. I believe it's 21 meters or close there too. But when you look at urban design or site layouts for typical industrial plazas, you're looking at the landscape area abutting the street and then parking and drive aisles separating the building from the street. So, that's your interface on the west side of the street. When you move clockwise to the top yellow color, that is a medium density mixed use development. It's approved through zoning and official plan amendments as well as a conditional site plan. And what you'll see there is stacked townhouses that are set back approximately 7 meters from Winona Road, and that was at the behest of staff to move that further away from the street. But the urban design or the pedestrian orientation as part of that project was focused to the north and west sides of Vince Mazza Way. So you have retail uses focused in that area. So the pedestrian orientation of that project is focused to Vince Mazza Way, not Winona Road. And then lastly, you have the red, which signifies the Costco Plaza, which is a big box store and just your typical development layout there. And so the policies there, staff did include one of those policies, which talks to, it was the last policy they referenced in the report, and that spoke to location of buildings, which is interior to the site, but smaller retail buildings may be focused to the streets, and may being a permissive as opposed to prescriptive or restrictive use in the urban or in the official plan. And so lastly, you have our site, which you'll see in red, which is an isolated piece of land that has separate policies from all the other three. So it's really an isolated or isolated site with different urban design requirements than the rest of the street. So you're going to have multiple different urban design ideas on this street and no real cohesive sense of urban scale. The next slide shows you just a zoomed in, oh, there goes my page. The next slide shows you a zoomed in image of the site. And so you'll see the site in red, of course. There's a 2-story building that used to be I believe it was a motor vehicle shop or some kind of repair shop. It's, of course, been it's been damaged in fire, it's unusable, and it's in the process of a demolition permit. But what you'll notice there on that screen is a yellow line that essentially covers 1/3 of the property, the southerly 1/3 of the property, and that is an existing Hydro One easement on the property. So we are not able to put any buildings on that section of the property. We're restricted to the northerly 2/3 of the site. We can put drive aisles, parking, et cetera, in that space, but no buildings. So already you lose 1/3 of that property to a potential streetscape. When you look a little further south of that, you of course see the hydro tower in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. That is part of the Hydro One easement. And then further south, you have Railway Street, which is a trail, but not an opened road, not an improved road allowance. And that is at the intersection of Victoria Avenue. And then further south, of course, is the CN Railway. So this is the last property on the street. There's no real streetscape. Once you move south of that, it's really just those utility uses. And so that's the restriction to our site. The last slide shows the development concept, and we've provided some colors on that, which may not be strictly visible on that screen. But again, we've identified that hydro easement in the blue dashed dot line across. You'll see that kind of is close to the southerly edge of our building. Again, that's a restriction to what we can do in that space. Again, you've got the green identifying the hydro corridor and the tower. And so that identifies the constraints we're facing on this site. If you look at the orange outline is the current proposal where our curb line is, and you'll note that our driveway is on the north end of the site. We wanted to keep it on the north end. We can only have one site entrance here, and so we were restricted with proximity to that adjacent intersection of Victoria Avenue. So the north end of the site was really the most appropriate location for that driveway. So what you have left over really was this space. We've identified it as 18 meters in width, and so that's really, in our opinion, where the argument of appropriateness comes from. We are restricted to about a maximum of 18 meters of actual building face on this street, and the opinion of staff is that we need to provide that. We don't agree with that interpretation, as I mentioned, and we think these variances are minor in nature. It is a permitted use, again, in the zoning and the official plan, and not every permitted use can comply with every regulation in a zoning bylaw, and that's why we have minor variances. A retail use with a pedestrian orientation would probably be appropriate at the streetscape, but given the type of use, we don't think that the appropriate location was at the street. And again, we looked at options where there were conflicts that arose from that location, so ultimately we've settled on this layout. If there are concerns with parking and drive aisles abutting the street from a visual perspective, those sorts of things can be addressed with enhanced landscaping, say masonry walls or more intense plantings. And we've provided approximately 5 meters or a minimum of 5 meters of landscape space abutting the street to try to mitigate that concern of drive aisles and parking abutting the street. In regards to the minimum setback, the rear yard setback, it is 1.4 meters. The adjacent built form of that plaza currently shows service uses such as parking and loading spaces in those areas. So we don't expect that there would be any adverse impacts from reductions to that rear yard setback in this location.
So you've given us a lot of information. Oh, sorry. You've given us a lot of information. What the recommendation from the staff was to table it until the applicant receives conditional site plan approval.
Yes, thank you.
Explain to me why you can't do that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you've seen in the report, and as I briefly alluded to, we do have a current site plan application, and we were told we could not get conditional approval because of these variances outstanding. Now we have variance application before you, and we told we can't have variance approval until we get site plan approval. So we're kind of stuck in a bit of a circular logic here, where we can't have one until we have the other, but we can't have one until we have the other.
It's just that there's a little bit more input that goes into the site plan approval. And I myself would be a little bit uncomfortable giving you the variances without site plan control.
Correct, and it's been through a formal, through you, Mr. Chair, the application has been through a formal review where they've identified these concerns, and we've met with staff, and they're not comfortable moving the site plan forward without the variances. So, detailed, pre-Bill 109, some of these detailed concerns, noise and other metrics, they are addressed as conditions of approval, and that's where we find ourselves. That the real argument is just the proximity of this building in relation to a street. We disagree with the staff opinion, and to be honest, we've looked at many different iterations, and I don't know where the common ground would be.
Okay, committee? What do you want to do? Nancy?
So, we've been in this position a few times, I know we have, and I guess I look at it as a risk from the applicant. If we did this with a condition upon site plan approval, they could lose-lose, and it's a total no-win situation. So I would be inclined, because again, it's a very isolated piece of property that isn't going to be used for anything else. Highest and best use comes to my mind over and above all things in this particular instance. So I don't really see a problem with it, because the risk is on those guys if they can't get site plan approval.
Okay. Margaret?
I was reading through the comments, and staff mentioned that the application, site plan application that they've reviewed was for a two-story building. And this does not look like a two-story building. So it seems to me that they've been reviewing something that is not in front of us. And so that's why they're asking for the site plan to be reviewed first.
So through the chair to the committee member, the original application was labeled as a two-story building because it had the office space for the car wash on the second story. As a result of staff comments from the original application, we were deficient in parking by about 50%. That was one of the major concerns with the application as well. And so part of that, our review with the client and the architect to come up with a revised scheme, which you see in front of you, was to remove some of that space to find that balance between building on the site and parking on the site. So our application removed the second story offices because that triggered a lot more parking requirements. So we've removed the office, we've added parking, we've moved some uses around on the site. We now comply with parking. So that was the change between those two uses, or between the iterations of the project. Staff have seen this iteration through the site plan process, to be clear.
So you have formally submitted the revised application, and have they reviewed it?
Through the chair, we submitted through the planner. Whether that went through a formal site plan resubmit, like to all departments, zoning at a minimum have, I believe, looked at this, but it was submitted to the planner who reviewed it when we were trying to find a workable solution to get the conditional approval moving forward. At the end of the day, again, we sat here in this back and forth going, okay, we don't have zoning, we don't have conditional approval, how do we move it forward? So yes, staff have reviewed it. A formal resubmission and recirculation may not have happened, but staff have seen this iteration of the project.
I think I also would be a little concerned about approving this without a formal site plan application being reviewed.
Okay, what should we do?
I feel that this application should be tabled, so I'd put forward a motion for tabling of this application.
Seconded by Mel. All those in favor? Those opposed? Carried.
I have, yeah, one opposed.
One opposed? David's opposed? I don't know.
Sorry, David, were you opposed to the motion for tabling?
I was.
Okay, thank you, that's what I thought. So the application
Was tabled.
Was tabled, yeah. All right, and we're all set for the next file, so we're hearing GLB 2307 and GLA 2325 for 333 Homestead Drive in Glanbrook. We have the agent registered to speak and several interested parties.
Hi there, my name is Dan Ellis and I'm representing the applicant on this file.
Okay, have you had opportunity to review the comments from staff?
Yes, I have. So just a quick background on this property. It was put before a committee a couple years ago to sever a single property into two building lots that are single family detached. The previous owner did not fulfill all the conditions in the 2-year period. So we are essentially bringing forward the same application again, this time for a new owner. I'd like to make a few comments on a couple of the conditions here. The first one being condition number 6, which addresses a existing septic system. The existing septic system on this property was removed when the original house was removed, I believe around 2017, and there are no further plans to have a septic system on this property. Yesterday, in speaking with the planner on this file, it was requested that this condition be removed, and the planner had advised that she notified the Committee of Adjustment and the Secretary Treasurer that this condition can be removed. So I do ask that that is acknowledged. And I wanted to also comment on condition number 11, which is requesting a noise study. I'd like to bring to the committee's attention that very, very recently there have been a number of other noise studies conducted in this area. A couple of the addresses are 3331 Homestead Drive, 3300 Homestead, and 3260 Homestead Drive. The reason why this condition is being put forward is due to the property's proximity to Upper James Street as well as the airport. One of the properties is located closer to Upper James Street, and 2 of the other properties are located closer to the airport than the subject site here. Those 3 noise studies, from the information we have available, recommend that standard noise clause A and standard noise clause D be applied to those sites. So I'd like to make a request today that condition number 11 be reworded such that the applicants are able to add those 2 noise clauses to these 2 vacant properties and forego conducting another noise study in the immediate area.
Okay, and then we had 2 interested parties, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So we will hear from Nick Uhak first. So Nick, and I believe your last name is UHAC. You requested to provide comments for GLB 2307 and GLA 2325.
Are you Nick?
No, I can see him
Oh,
or
okay.
her on here. We can proceed to the next interested party in the meantime. So we have Gary Hoover registered to speak.
Yeah. 2 years ago, I sent a letter when he asked for severing the properties, which I had no objection to him severing the properties. But prior to that, in 2019, his house that was under construction burnt to the ground. And for 2 years, the vacant lot became a dumping site for, I don't know who was doing it, but people doing construction in the area were dumping lumber and fill and concrete and rocks. Anyway, he had it all, the owner, I'm assuming, had it all plowed to the back of the property to, I estimated was a 3-foot height, which caused all the drainage from that to go into my yard. I sent you photographs of the situation. If you don't have them now, I brought copies of them, which I don't know if you want to look at them or...
Sorry, we can't have physical copies. Did you send them to cofa@hamilton.ca?
I don't know, going back,
You provided them for a previous application, not for this application?
yeah, the previous application was like 2 years ago. So the letter here is for reapplication, consent land severance, GLB 2116.
That was a previous file for this
That was
address?
a previous one.
That's not
And
this.
I sent you a letter, and I said I had no objection to the severance, providing he restored the property to its original grade, which he did not do. Last year, early summer, late spring, a bulldozer came in and kind of leveled this pile off at the back, but it's still way above the original grade. And when we get rain or melting snow or whatever, my backyard becomes a swamp. It's all moss and I can't control it. And I have up-to-date photographs that I took 4 days ago showing what's happening. Well, okay, that's gone. So do you want to see these photographs or?
No, sorry, we can't view only visual in-person materials due to the nature of the hybrid meeting.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, we aren't able to view in-person only physical materials due to the nature of the hybrid meeting. They aren't able to be shared in the public meeting forum.
Okay, so where do I go from here?
So I believe your concerns are with regards to the draining, and it sounds like that's a municipal enforcement issue that's not strictly related to the variances that are, and the consent application that's before it, because it sounds like it's existing drainage issues. I would note that there is a condition that is required from development engineering that is requesting a consent agreement, and that often deals with grading issues. But if there are concerns with the existing grading and drainage, that would be more appropriately addressed through municipal enforcement.
Like bylaw enforcement?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Well, I actually had one of them come and look at it, and nothing became of it.
Nancy?
Just for your information, it sounds like the property's been through a change of hands as well, and short of suggesting you maybe provide some patience, that sounds like there's people working on it now to deal with it in a new ownership. So there's a
I
possibility.
wasn't aware there was a change of ownership.
It appears that there is a purchase involved according to the records here. We don't know
Okay, I
anything
wasn't
more.
aware of that.
We don't know any more than that either.
But I just want to see that grading sorted out because it's not right. I can't handle the mess that it makes.
And the agent is on the call right now and is being made aware of your concerns.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for your comments. I'll go back and see if Nicholas Uhak is there. If you are there, please make yourself known. You may need to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
All right,
Way to
Mr.
go,
Chair,
Ken.
I do not have the other registered interested party making themselves known. They-
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to the committee again. What's your wish? Melvin?
Yeah, I'm ready to move this. I think his concerns be looked after in the grading and everything as the plans go through, so I'm ready to make a motion to accept.
Sorry,
Yep.
can I just clarify? So you're making a motion for approval or, okay. Was that with condition 6 and 11?
Yep.
So I did receive confirmation that condition 6 was okay to be removed from
Yep,
zoning
yep,
staff, so
yep.
that one's okay. And then condition 11 is as noted by the applicant or as noted in the comment package?
What
The
noise
applicant
that-
was requesting
What the noise?
the noise
Noise,
study
okay.
be removed and a condition with noise clause A and D be added instead.
Yeah, the noise. I think the noise has already been applied for the other ones, so.
Okay, so your motion on the table is motion for approval with condition 6 removed and condition 11 amended to require a noise clause be added to
Yep.
subsequent purchases to the satisfaction of development engineering.
Yep.
Yes, okay.
Seconder? Vern? Any other further comments? All in favor? Those opposed?
I have one opposed, Mr. Chair.
I'm only opposed because I believe that none of us are engineers who are competent to, at this point, without the background information, to impose conditions. I think it really does require a noise study to be done before we start putting warning clauses for future residents of this area. So that's the only reason I'm opposed.
So one opposed, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so it's carried.
And the application's approved with conditions amended.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, yeah.
All right, and Mr. Chair, we did have a break currently scheduled. It was scheduled the next item at 2:40, so we are currently behind that. Did we want to have a 5-minute break or do we want to proceed?
I need a 2-minute break.
Okay, well, let's go with a 5-minute break and
All right, so we will recess and we will reconvene at 2:50.
There you go.
All right, so we're all set for the next file. We're hearing HMA 2333 for 8 Wall Street in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak and, and no other interested parties.
Hello, members of the committee. My name is Anthony Bardini, and I'll be speaking on behalf of my clients at 8 Wall Street on this file. I don't have any further comments to add to the requested variances, but did realize that staff recommended denial of variance number 2 for a specific reason, and I would like to have an opportunity to possibly discuss that. Is that okay? Hello, can you hear me?
Who did you want to discuss that with?
I'm just wondering if there's any opportunity
staff?
Pardon me?
Are you asking to discuss that with staff?
I was just wondering if there was any opportunity to discuss the reason for denial on that specific variance, or maybe just at least bring my reasoning to the table. Are we given the opportunity to do that, or would would approval be given based on planning recommendations? Okay, so I just noticed that there was staff recommended denial of the reduced setback to the pool equipment in this case. And if you look at the site plan, the pool equipment is located at the bottom of the property, I guess, closer to Darlington Drive. And staff mentioned that the reason for the recommendation for denial was that there would be a lack of space to service the equipment. And from our perspective, we were just, we didn't really understand that point because we would still be maintaining 0.61 meters behind the pool equipment. So if the committee could possibly appreciate that point and give us approval on the variances in total, that would be fantastic.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? Vern?
Is the pool going to be contained within the existing fence?
Correct, yes, it will be contained within the existing fence, exactly.
Then I'm having a little difficulty understanding where all the problems are coming from, because we have an existing fence, and inside that fence there's playground equipment and whatever else is in there. I could only see the playground equipment. And now we're being asked if we could put a pool inside there, and we're getting a negative approach from the city on this. So I don't clearly understand where all the setbacks are and some of the problems that are created here. If we can put a fence there, what is the problem with the pool inside the fence?
So on this, I could read the variances listed again, if that helps. I know that it created quite an issue because the side yard, the pool was kind of like considered in the side yard to some extent. So some variances were created in relation to that. Honestly speaking, like there's an existing yard there, and when we did put the proposal in to erect a pool per se, the planning staff or the zoning staff who reviewed the file just mentioned that there was some incompliance with the location of the swimming pool. So in this essence, it should technically be located a distance from Darlington Avenue, and we're not actually able to achieve that, unfortunately, on this lot, as listed in the staff report there. And then just the pool equipment and a reduction in the minimum landscaping in the backyard, or actually it's considered the front yard in this case. So there was just a little bit of, I guess zoning and planning matters here in consideration to what was actually the back or the front or the side yard. So that erased quite a few variances. I hope that clears up your comment.
Nancy?
Can you show me or tell me on this site plan where the pool house is? Like I see 2 gray rectangles there, and it shows the 0.061 setback from the neighbor's yard, but where exactly are the buildings that are going to house this equipment?
Sorry, was that a question for myself?
Yes, please. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yes, no problem. So it was actually only pool equipment. So it was only equipment on a concrete slab. I'm not sure if the line went missing there, but typically like pool equipment is a 3x6 concrete slab, and it would just be located at the back of the property, like a very typical. There's no structure actually being proposed in
All
this.
right, so
in
I'm
this
not
case.
missing a structure, which is great. And I do see the .061 on that side. And again, on the, I guess it would be the Darlington side, there's enough space there. So I see no problem with this application. I think there's plenty of room there to access. It's not like you're climbing behind a 6-foot or 7-foot structure if it's open. So my support is behind it.
Very much, thank you.
Sorry, was that a motion, Nancy? No. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Do we have a motion?
Sure, I'll make the motion then for approval.
Move for approval, including number 2. Seconded by Mel. All those in favor? Those opposed? Nobody opposed. Carried.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
All right, and we're all set for the next file. So we're hearing ANA 2326 for 336 Clarendon Drive in Ancaster. We have 2 agents registered to speak and the owner, and no other interested parties. I'm not sure which agent wishes to speak first.
Good afternoon, members of committee. Matt Johnston, a registered professional planner with Urban Solutions. I'm here joined virtually by the owner, Mr. Brad Davis, and our good friends at Park 8 Design, Peter Van Arden. And I do have a couple of slides that I could rely on. I'm not sure they're entirely necessary, especially if there's no interested parties. But I just wanted to highlight that we've taken a close look at the staff report, and we've had some further communication with staff. And variance number 2, the variance regarding the reduction in parking stall size within the garage is no longer necessary. So it's not particularly in need of a vote. We could simply ask that it be removed. And the way we've addressed that is simply by indicating the parking stall size in compliance with the bylaw within the garage with an additional space in the driveway. And both of those spaces are deemed to be compliant with the zoning bylaw. So with that said, we aren't in need of that variance. And the other variance related to the rear yard is really just a reflection of the irregular lot shape. And of course, we've got full support from staff and are of the opinion it satisfies the 4 tests of the Planning Act. So with that said, we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Motion? Nancy?
I make a motion removing number 2, so approval of variance number 1.
And seconded by Margaret. All those in favor? Any opposed? No opposed? It's carried.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we are all set for the next file. We're hearing ANA 2340 for 280 Wilson Street East in Ancaster. We have the agent registered to speak and no other interested parties.
So is the agent available?
Yep. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. It's Joseph Liberatore here from GSP Group on behalf of the owner, Jeff Walker.
So have you read the comments?
We have indeed. We agree with the recommendation from staff with respect to variances 1 and 2. With variance 3, we would like to present kind of our case from the 4 tests in response to staff's comments and to hear from committee on some discussion with that. We've prepared a very brief presentation as well to highlight some of the information with respect to variance 3. If we could share that briefly.
Okay.
Okay. So with respect to the site, it's located along Wilson Street East in the village core of Ancaster. It's immediately surrounded by some institutional uses, including the Ancaster Anglican Church, immediately to the south of the site, which is located here. It's number 3. The purpose of this application was to facilitate the construction of these townhouses to the rear of the existing mixed-use building. So where the site alteration is proposed is in this red boxed area to the rear. Variance number 3 relates to that visual barrier, which is required as part of the zoning. So where we're proposing the visual barrier is where that development is proposed, and not where the existing condition is to be maintained through the preservation of the existing mixed-use building, as well as the drive aisle located where this red line is. Now, when we look at the comment from staff with respect to the compromised privacy and they're not supportive of that reduction of the visual barrier, we look more closely at the existing condition of what that 4-foot chain link fence looks like now, and the proposed to essentially reconstruct that with a new chain link fence, which would improve the existing condition. However, it does require that variance where the wording of the bylaw prescribes that a visual barrier be constructed, particularly in that area as well. So the sight lines to that is from a parking area to a drive aisle parking area. And you can also see the 2 accesses immediately adjacent to one another. And this isn't something that's going to be altered through that construction of the new townhouses to the back. It is a completely separate item. And here you can see it from the top view as well, and how that relates from the site, and then the distances from the building to where this is to be constructed. So we've also had discussions with the neighboring church on what the preference was in the treatment here. And this is some of the communication from the owner to the church with respect to what approach to that fencing they have. And this is being the response from the reverend of the church, that they were amenable to having the 4-foot fence reconstructed as a chain link versus like the full wooden fence. So with that being said, and the opinion provided in the planning justification that it does meet the 4 tests, we respectfully request that committee approve variance number 3 with regards to the reduction to the visual barrier. I'm available for any questions and happy to assist. Thank you very much.
Nancy?
Unless somebody else has something. No? No other speakers?
Sorry, no other speakers.
Okay, thanks. Yep, I'm absolutely in agreement with the applicant on that. There's absolutely no need for an additional barrier at the front end. That's an existing condition, and access to the side of that building, which has been used for, I don't know how many years, Mr. Walker, many, many years. So I would be in support of number 2 being approved.
No?
Yes, I visit the property and I can see the church agreeing with the chain link fence, so I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. It's been approved. So that would have been all 3 variances, right?
That's correct, yes. Great, and we're all set for the next file. We're hearing ANA 2345 for 548 Weir Road in Ancaster. We have the agents registered to speak and no interested parties. The agents can come forward to the table and just make sure that your microphone is turned on when you're speaking.
So have you read the comments prepared by the staff?
Yes.
And?
Looks good to me.
Okay. Yes, Fern?
Move it.
Okay. Seconded by Nancy. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Seeing none?
Carried. Have a great
Thank
day.
you for coming.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, and we are all set for the next file. We're hearing ANA 2336 for 2004 Governor's Road in Ancaster. We have the agents registered to speak and no other interested parties.
So have you read the comments of the planning staff?
Yep, they said recommendation to approve, and I agree.
Okay. Committee?
Motion to approve?
Moved by Margaret, seconded by Mel. All those in favor? No. Carried.
305.
You're up.
Did you pack a lunch?
Alrighty, so we're all set for the next item. We're hearing ANA 23. Sorry, we're all set for the next item. We're hearing ANA 2341 for 3236 Jerseyville Road West in Ancaster. We have the owner registered to speak and one interested party. And just for the person in the room, just make sure that your microphone is turned on when you're speaking.
Okay, set the owner. Okay, so have you read the comments from staff?
Yes, I did, and I thank staff and appreciate them and respect their very supportive comments.
Okay.
Yes.
We have to hear from somebody else, and then we'll let you comment on that.
Thank you.
All right, so we have Robert Penfold registered to speak. If you are on the call, please make yourself known.
Hi, sorry, I thought this was for Green Mountain Road.
You registered to speak for 743 Green Mountain Road?
Yes.
Okay, that's the next item then. So we'll call you again when it's that item.
Okay, thank you.
What would you like to do with this application? Margaret?
A motion for approval. There is a condition, though, on page 4, or at least it appears to be a condition. It hasn't been added to the beginning, but it...
Yes, I apologize. That was a staff error. That is, the condition was noted in the comment package, but it was not included in the usual consolidated list. It was a condition from development planning that the variances be approved generally in keeping with the grading plan that was submitted and dated February 14th, 2023.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, that's my motion.
Okay,
I'll second
moved
that motion.
and seconded. All those in favor? Carried.
Thank you very much.
What a great way to spend your Thursday afternoon, eh?
Useful bureaucracy is wonderful thing. I do appreciate it.
Who is the,
Forget it, we'll just do it.
for planning?
All right, and we are all set for the next file. So we're hearing SCA 2329 for 743 Green Mountain Road East in Stony Creek. We have the owners registered to speak and one interested party. And for the owner who's appearing in person, if you could just make sure that your microphone is turned on when you are speaking.
The red light, come on, we could sit on the way.
What?
You got it.
Okay,
So have you had opportunity to read the comments?
I have.
By the staff?
yes.
And what would you like to do?
First, I wanted to ask, I have a number of implements, tractor equipment that I need for the property, and I need about 1,500 square feet just to store the equipment without any room
actually, or even just a little walkway around it. So I need a lot more without having to remove everything to use something. So that's why we're looking to expand the size of it.
Committee?
And the building is going to be an addition to what's already there. It'll be a 3-sided lean-to.
Okay. We had one interested party.
Okay.
All right, so we will hear from Robert Penfold.
Hello, yeah, I am opposed to the building being increased in size due to privacy issues. Also, the homeowner has already not followed guidelines from the city previously when doing his building permits, and having overgraded and causing flooding for multiple properties in the area. So I just feel that he doesn't follow any of the restrictions or the guidelines from the city, and it's just getting ridiculous.
Okay, thank you for your comments. There are no other interested parties, Mr. Chair.
Any questions from the committee? Vernon?
I visited this property, and just from the road, my observations were this. First of all, it appears to me to be a rather large property. I don't know how much land is there, but I would
52 acres.
Beg pardon?
52 acres.
So there's your answer. It's 52 acres. And the new home that's built on it has to be at least 100 meters from the road. I saw some piles of gravel at the back, and I see there's been a lot of landscaping at the front. But the one thing I did notice was that there was a front-end loader. I think it's a Bobcat loader.
Yes, it's a tractor.
And there was also a side-by-side, and there might have even been a little Bobcat scraper there or whatever. And coming from the rural area and being born and raised on a farm, if you have farm equipment and it sits outside for a long time, the weather is going to deteriorate that equipment. We just heard that there's a lot of land here, and this building is not what I would refer to as an oversized building. He's asking for something that I think was 205 square meters or something like this. Beg your pardon? 295. And if we could bring the size of the building down a little bit, I would like to see a building go in here, something to house the equipment. And so I'm in favor of it, but I'm in favor of seeing the building come down in size a little bit. Thank you.
Nancy?
Are there additional buildings on that property?
No.
Okay, I read total aggregate coverage of the lot. The lot is 52 acres, 295 square meters is a big building, but I think the house, from what I'm seeing, I only saw it online.
Yes.
How many square feet?
33,600.
Okay, so there's some kind of misunderstanding here, and it seems like it's not a problem. We need to look at this and get it approved.
I just wanted to add this to the gentleman's comments. Equipment now is, I don't know what it's made of, but it doesn't last like the old stuff where you can just leave it outside. It's, I bought a rotary cutter last year. It's rusting. It's a year old.
All right, so I'm supportive of the application. If nobody else has a comment, David, do you have any comments? Anybody else have a comment? Otherwise, I'll make a motion for approval.
Moved and seconded by Mel. All those in favor? Those opposed?
I have one opposed, and sorry, David, I wasn't able to see you vote. Are you in favor or opposed to this
I
application?
don't think Margaret's opposed.
Oh, you're not opposed?
She was slow.
Oh, okay, sorry, I apologize. Okay, then David, were you opposed or in favor of this application?
Hello?
Yep.
Yep.
Go ahead, David. Oh, I think you turned your microphone off
mute.
again.
I didn't quite get all that meeting because I'm in and out of that one because I'm having a little difficulty. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. All right, so I'll just mark you down as abstained from voting for that.
Yeah, I gotta move around, get a better connection. Hold on. Okay, abstain from that one. Yes, sorry.
All right. Thank you. So there was none opposed, Mr. Chair, then.
So it's been approved.
3,600. It's, your average house has 19 corners, this one has 54. It was a labor of love. What'd you think? What'd you think?
All right, we're all set for the next item.
And more coming.
Yeah,
Normally at this point, we say take it outside.
except we need the committee member.
We've already approved it.
All along the green plans, and Carlos Anadolio had to come, the city planner.
Yep.
He came personally. Beef was.
Carlo's a good guy.
We're,
Is it bad?
I like him. Don't you like Carlos? Yeah.
okay, we're all set for the next file. We're hearing DNA 22377 for 25 Witherspoon Street in Dundas. We have the agent registered to speak and no other interested parties.
Okay, you're on.
Great. My name is David Crothers of 505 York Boulevard in Hamilton, Ontario, here representing the homeowners of 25 Witherspoon Street, Duncan and Jen McNeil. I've read through the staff report. We have gone back and revised our design and worked with planning, spoken to the neighbors from our previous application that were concerned. And I have nothing else further to add, but we'll answer any questions that the committee may have for me.
Thank you. Committee?
Move
Nancy?
it. Move it for approval.
Seconded by Mel. All those in favor? Carried.
Thank you. Have a
Application's
great
been
day.
approved. I'm glad we finally caught up.
Your mic is on. Just...
Oh.
Dead. You've got it muted.
Hello, hello.
Participants. There.
All right, we're all set for the next item. We're hearing FLA 2338 for 854 Concession 6 West in Flamborough. We have the owners registered to speak and no other interested parties. For the owners, whoever is speaking, if you could just make sure that your microphone is turned on when you're speaking.
So we had opportunity to read staff comments.
Yes. Yep, apparently there's some, I guess, some concerns with what do you call it? artifacts, if they find some artifacts, or if we find some artifacts while we're digging, that to notify the MCM, is it? And the register, the deputy register for cemeteries. So, yeah.
Okay. Committee? Vern?
Staff are supportive, so I move it.
Okay. Seconded by Nancy. All those in favor?
None opposed, Mr. Chair.
None opposed? Carried. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
I think they come in here prepared for the worst.
I know.
George, it's Janet and Stuart. We tried to
All right. We're all set for the next item. We're hearing FLA 2337 for 1417 Center Road in Flamborough. We have the agent registered to speak and no other interested parties.
So have you had opportunity to review the comments?
I did. Yeah, so I've talked to the homeowner and we've read the comments and we would be willing to, the last sentence of the comment of sentence variance 2 that says staff note that if the height of the accessory building is decreased to conform to the zoning bylaw, the staff would be supportive of the increased floor area. We'd be willing to adjust our height to have no height variance as long as we get the area approved. Is there any way of putting a condition on?
Okay, so you're requesting that the variance 1 be removed and variance 2 be approved?
Yes.
Okay.
Mel?
Yeah, I have a concern with that because it's hearsay from you, but the staff agreed with it. Until I have that in front of me, I'm not prepared to accept it, so.
Well, it's written in their notes.
It is in the notes.
We do also, I believe, have planning staff. I believe that was a planning
They
staff
got planning
comment.
staff on board. If I can hear from them and they agree to it, it's a different story.
Good afternoon, through the chair, Development Planning, Morgan Gowans. Yeah, Development Planning doesn't have any issues with the size. It was just the height. So if the height variances were no longer required, we'd be supportive of the increased size.
Okay.
Motion for approval with the new size.
I was going to recognize Mel first.
Yeah, I was against until that's approval there, so I'll agree to the approval of it.
Okay, moved by Mel, seconded by Nancy. Sure. All those in favor? Anybody opposed?
Seeing none?
Carried. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You got socks on?
Yeah, I wear the no-show even when we do it.
I know.
All right, we're all set for FLA 2331 for 4 Tristan Court in Flamborough. We have the agent registered to speak and no other interested parties.
So have you had opportunity to review these staff comments?
Yes, we have.
And you're okay with them?
Yep.
Terrific. Committee? Moved by Vern.
Motion to approve. It's a minor lot coverage.
Okay.
Second.
Seconded by Margaret. All those in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
This is going to be an interesting.
All right, we're all set for the next item. We're hearing FLA 2327 for 118 Main Street North in Flamborough. We have the owner registered to speak and one interested party. I would note that there were comments provided that notice was not provided in accordance with the Planning Act. So if we want to make have a motion in advance of the hearing with regards to whether or not the committee is satisfied that notion has been provided.
Question.
Sufficient notice.
Could you explain how that came about? Was it a complaint or was it an oversight?
So I believe the comments in the comment package addressed it from one of the interested parties.
Oh, I'm going deeper. One of the letters. Help me. Oh. Was this like the long letter?
Yeah.
Okay. And that did not work, did not comply with the Planning Act?
So I believe the concerns were with regards to whether or not the sign was visible from the road.
But it was there.
It was posted, yes.
Okay. That in previous cases where we have had this comment, the fact that the sign is there is all that is required. I don't remember it saying it had to be within so many feet. If the property is set back 50 feet from the sidewalk, then that's where it goes, 50 feet back from the sidewalk.
So the requirement under the Planning Act, or under the regulations of the Planning Act, is that a posting of a notice clearly visible and legible from a public highway or other public place. So if the committee is satisfied that notice was posted and sufficient notice has been provided, as surrounding property owners were also provided mailed notice.
I allude to my colleagues.
I can't think where I see it.
Margaret. David.
David has still not rejoined us, so yeah.
What is this? The only reason I'm questioning is because a previous comment in today's session was regarding the inability to understand it in multiple languages. So, I mean, the fact that it was posted gives me some reassurance that there was intent to make notice. We've had others where they've been in a bush or buried under a tree or something like that. So,
Yeah, I think that this one as well, it was posted on the garage, but there was a car in front of it, which it is actually posted at the front of the house. It says the vehicle remained undisturbed. I don't think that's would be considered hiding it. I think it's in plain view.
Okay, is there a motion then that the notice was provided sufficiently? Yep.
Yep.
Sorry?
sure, I'll make that motion that I'm content that the notification was adequate. Posting of the notification.
And does it need a seconder?
Yeah.
I will second.
All those in favor? Anybody opposed?
None opposed. All right, so then we can proceed with the item. So we have the owner registered to speak and one interested party, Mr. Chair.
So have you had opportunity to read the staff comments?
Yes, I have.
And
Deviation 1, thank you. Deviation 2, I would like to comment, I actually didn't ask for 0%. I believe the actual mathematical calculation was about 7. It was a deviation from 50 to 43. But I can definitely come back to the committee and with a proposal to get as close to 50 as possible. It was an adjustment over a phone conversation with a gentleman from the offices stating 0, and there was no intent to be 0, that's for sure. So I would be willing to come back to the committee with a proposal to get as close to 50 as possible. Understanding that my neighbors do not like the house itself, which is obvious from everything. However, it was applied, permitted, and everything, and it was started pre-COVID and didn't get finished due to COVID until, post-COVID. So we had an extended period of build time.
Okay, is there anybody else to hear from on this? A
So,
citizen or something?
yeah, there is one interested party, Mr. Chair. If the item's not going to be heard today, then,
Okay.
Yeah, I think I make a motion to table the application.
Moved by Margaret, seconded by Mel to table the application. All those in favor? Everybody?
yeah, none opposed.
So
Mr. Chair.
we're tabling the application today for you to address those issues. And
And for the interested party, when a new application or an amended application is submitted, new notice will be provided and you will be notified of the new hearing date.
Thank you, folks.
thank
Do I
you.
have an opportunity to address the committee at all?
No, we're not hearing it. We're not hearing this application today. It will be in the future. He's going to amend his application, and at that time, you'll be notified.
Okay, perhaps then the new notice as posted on the property could be placed in an alternative location.
Yeah, that's, the owner has
Your
heard
Honor,
your concern.
Your Honor, I'll take that away. We went on vacation. It was posted where the car wasn't supposed to be. So I will make sure that it's posted visible so that that Kate can have her opportunity to speak to the group, and we don't have the background of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
All right, and we're all set for the next file. So we're hearing FLB 2309 for 191 Hill Street South in Flamborough. We have the agent registered to speak as well as several interested parties.
Okay, have you had opportunity to review the comments by staff?
I have.
And?
Great.
Comfortable with them?
It's Mill Street with an M.
Okay, and there's other people.
Yeah, okay, so we'll hear from the interested parties now. So we have Ian Stewart Farewell registered to speak. If you could please unmute yourself.
Hello?
Hello. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ian Farwell. I just wanted to suggest we are the neighbors immediately adjacent to the property, and we are in support of the applicant's motion.
Thank you.
Okay, we also had Janet Farwell registered.
Yes, I'm the other interested party living in the home next door. But yeah, we think it's a good idea, so we hope it gets granted.
Okay, and then I had George Morrison, but I do not currently see them on the call, and I do not see them in person, Mr. Chair.
So that's it?
Yes,
So
Mr. Chair.
committee, Mel?
Yeah, so if everybody's in favor, the neighbors in favor, the city's okay with it, I'll move it to second.
Seconded by Vern, and you're, of course, including the condition that's on the...
Yep, for the condition.
All those in favor? Anybody opposed? Carried. It's approved.
Attached to conditions or?
Yes, all the conditions listed on the consolidated comment list were included in the, or in the decision, sorry.
Thank you.
All right, and that is the last item for this agenda. Just a note for the committee members. The next hearing will be next Thursday, and it will commence, well, how our usually do, the meeting starts at 9 o'clock. Our first item will be scheduled slightly after that. But just as a reminder that we are back here again next week in the morning.
Is that an approval?
Yes,
Yes.
your application was already approved with conditions.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we can go off.
We just need a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
So made.
Moved by Nancy, seconded by Vern. All those in oh, okay. Do I have to ask if anybody's in favor?
I guess more important question, is anybody not in favor? of that?
Well, I think Vern was thinking that maybe he wasn't in favor.
All right.
I think we still are, we're still on.